What if the key to your success isn't some grand breakthrough, but the simple habits you choose every day? The truth is, extraordinary growth stems from consistent, small actions that compound over time. Imagine having a clear, step-by-step guide to unlock your potential and craft the life you desire. This book is your blueprint, a roadmap to develop positive growth habits that will transform your mindset, behaviors, and future. Success Blueprint. Develop Positive Growth Habits. Written and published by Brainpower Blueprint. Chapter 1. Starting with Purpose. Building a vision for success. Have you ever paused to ask yourself why you do what you do? In the rush of daily life, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters, slipping into routines without considering whether they align with your bigger goals. But here's a truth that might surprise you. Without a clear sense of purpose, even the most diligent efforts can feel empty. Purpose is the foundation of success, a guiding light that illuminates the path when everything else seems uncertain. When you anchor your actions to a meaningful vision, every step forward becomes intentional, no matter how small it seems. Purpose gives life direction. It's the difference between wandering aimlessly and walking with confidence toward a goal. For example, think about someone who decides to start exercising regularly. One person might do it because everyone else is doing it, while another might be motivated by a clear vision to gain energy, improve their health, or be there for their family in the long run. The second person's sense of purpose will carry them through the inevitable challenges, such as days when motivation runs low or life gets busy. Purpose transforms a task into a mission, giving it deeper meaning and resilience. But how do you find your purpose? This question often intimidates people because it feels big and abstract. Purpose doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't mean you must dedicate your life to solving world problems or climbing impossible mountains. Instead, it's about identifying what matters most to you and allowing that to shape your decisions. For some, purpose may come from building a fulfilling career, while for others, it might mean fostering meaningful relationships or contributing to their community. What unites all these pursuits is the clarity they bring. They guide you toward what feels meaningful and worthwhile. A practical way to uncover your purpose is to reflect on moments when you felt truly fulfilled. Think back to a time when you felt alive, energized, and in sync with yourself. What were you doing? Who were you with? What impact did that moment have on you or others? These experiences often hold clues to what drives you. For example, someone might recall feeling deeply satisfied after mentoring a colleague or organizing a family event. These memories point to values like helping others or creating harmony, values that can serve as the building blocks of their purpose. Real-life examples illustrate this process beautifully. Consider Sarah, a graphic designer who felt uninspired in her job. She loved designing, but her work lacked the deeper connection she craved. One day, she volunteered to create posters for a local charity event and discovered how meaningful it felt to use her skills for a cause she believed in. That small experience helped her redefine her purpose, to use her creativity to make a positive impact. From that moment on, Sarah sought projects that aligned with her vision, and her work became more fulfilling than ever. Similarly, imagine Jake, a college student overwhelmed by the pressure to choose the right career. After some reflection, he realized his happiest moments involved collaborating with others on problem-solving tasks. Instead of chasing a career based on external expectations, he chose a path where teamwork and creativity were central, leading him to feel more aligned and confident. Purpose is a compass, but it's not static. It evolves as you grow and gain new experiences. What feels meaningful to you today may expand or shift in the future. That's not a sign of failure. It's a natural part of the journey. The key is to remain open to exploring what resonates with you and adjusting your path accordingly. To ground this chapter's lessons in your own life, take a moment to reflect on your purpose. Close your eyes and picture the life you dream of living. Ask yourself, what does success look like to me? What kind of impact do I want to have on the world or those around me? These questions may not have immediate answers, but sitting with them opens the door to clarity. As you wrap up this chapter, here's your practical exercise. Set aside 15 minutes to write a purpose statement. Begin with a prompt. My life feels most meaningful when or I feel successful when Let your thoughts flow freely. Don't worry about getting it perfect. This is just a starting point. Revisit this statement regularly, refining it as you learn more about yourself and your goals. Your purpose is the foundation upon which you'll build everything in this book. As you move forward, you'll learn how to align your habits and actions with this vision, creating a life of intentional growth and fulfillment. Chapter 2. Mindset Matters. Shifting Perspectives for Growth. Have you ever noticed how two people can face the same challenge but respond in completely different ways? One sees failure as a reason to give up, while the other views it as a chance to learn and grow. The difference lies not in their abilities, but in their mindsets. Your mindset is the lens through which you view the world, shaping how you interpret experiences and respond to opportunities. In this chapter, we'll explore how adopting a growth mindset can transform your journey to success, empowering you to embrace challenges and unlock your full potential. A growth mindset, a concept popularized by psychologist Carol Dweck, is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. This perspective contrasts with a fixed mindset, which assumes that talents and abilities are static traits. A person with a fixed mindset might say, "I'm just not good at math," while someone with a growth mindset would think, "I can get better at math if I work on it." This simple shift in perspective can make a profound difference in how you approach challenges and pursue your goals. To understand the power of mindset, let's consider a real-world example. Imagine two coworkers, Emma and Daniel, who are asked to give presentations at work. Emma, who has a fixed mindset, dreads the assignment. She believes she's terrible at public speaking and convinces herself she'll fail no matter what. Her fear leads her to procrastinate and avoid preparation, reinforcing her belief that she's incapable. Daniel, on the other hand, approaches the task with a growth mindset. He knows he's not a natural public speaker, but sees this as an opportunity to improve. He practices, seeks feedback, and learns from his mistakes. Over time, Daniel not only becomes more confident, but also discovers a talent he never realized he had. The beauty of a growth mindset is that it shifts your focus from outcomes to effort and learning. Instead of fearing failure, you begin to see it as part of the process. This doesn't mean you'll never feel frustrated or discouraged, but it gives you the resilience to keep going. Take the example of famous inventor Thomas Edison, who famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison's ability to reframe failure as experimentation is a hallmark of the growth mindset and a key reason for his success. One way to cultivate a growth mindset is to become aware of the language you use with yourself. Pay attention to your self-talk, those inner dialogues that shape your beliefs. When you catch yourself saying things like, "I can't," or "I'll never be able to," challenge those thoughts. Replace them with empowering statements, such as, "I'm still learning," or "I'll figure this out." These small but intentional changes in language can gradually shift your perspective and help you approach challenges with greater optimism and determination. Another powerful tool is to focus on effort over innate ability. Praise yourself and others for the work put into a task rather than the result alone. For example, instead of saying, "You're so talented," try saying, "I admire how much effort you put into this." This reinforces the idea that progress comes from hard work and persistence, encouraging a growth-oriented mindset. Let's look at another real-life example. Imagine Mia, a high school student struggling with her science grades. Her fixed mindset led her to think she wasn't cut out for science, so she avoided studying and participating in class. But when her teacher introduced her to the concept of growth mindset, everything changed. Mia started focusing on improving step by step. She asked more questions, sought help from her peers, and practiced consistently. Over time, her grades improved significantly. But more importantly, she discovered a newfound confidence in tackling other subjects. It's important to recognize that adopting a growth mindset doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending everything is easy. Instead, it's about reframing difficulties as opportunities to grow. Let's say you're trying to learn a new skill, like cooking or playing an instrument, and you feel frustrated by your slow progress. A fixed mindset might tell you, I'm just not good at this. But a growth mindset reminds you, I'm getting better with practice. This shift keeps you motivated and open to learning, even when the path gets tough. To truly embrace a growth mindset, you must also learn to value feedback. Criticism, when approached with the right attitude, becomes a valuable tool for growth, rather than a source of shame or defensiveness. Think of it this way. Feedback provides a roadmap for improvement. It highlights areas you might not see on your own and helps you refine your efforts. By welcoming feedback with curiosity and humility, you accelerate your progress and build stronger relationships with those around you. As you wrap up this chapter, here's your practical exercise. Reflect on a recent challenge or failure in your life. Take a moment to write down how you responded to it, what thoughts and emotions came up. Then, consider how you could reframe the experience using a growth mindset. For example, instead of focusing on what went wrong, ask yourself, what did I learn from this? How can I do better next time? Write down one concrete action you'll take to apply this lesson moving forward. Your mindset is one of the most powerful tools you have on your journey to success. By shifting your perspective and embracing a growth-oriented approach, you open yourself to new possibilities and unlock the potential for continuous improvement. As you move through this book, remember that every small step you take reinforces your ability to grow and achieve your goals. Chapter 3: Breaking Barriers, Overcoming Fear and Self-Doubt. What if the greatest obstacles to your success are not the challenges you face, but the fears and doubts you carry within yourself? Fear and self-doubt have a way of creeping into your thoughts, making even the most promising opportunities feel out of reach. But here's the truth. These barriers are not permanent. They are constructs of the mind, and with intentional effort, you can break through them. This chapter is about understanding and overcoming the fears and doubts that hold you back, replacing them with confidence and courage. Fear is a natural response to uncertainty, and it serves a purpose. It keeps us safe in dangerous situations. However, in the context of personal growth, fear often misfires, making us avoid things that could lead to positive change. For example, someone might hesitate to apply for a dream job because they're afraid of rejection. The fear of failure becomes so overwhelming that they never take the chance. Similarly, self-doubt whispers, "You're not good enough," or "You don't have what it takes," creating a false narrative that stifles potential. Recognizing these thoughts for what they are, a barrier rather than a truth, is the first step toward overcoming them. Take the example of Lisa, a young professional who dreamed of starting her own business. Every time she thought about it, fear and self-doubt paralyzed her. She worried about failing, losing money, or what others might think. These thoughts kept her stuck in a job she didn't enjoy. One day, she decided to confront her fears by breaking them down. Instead of seeing failure as a catastrophe, she reframed it as a learning experience. She realized that even if her first attempt didn't succeed, she would gain valuable lessons to build on. With this mindset, Lisa took small, manageable steps toward her goal, such as creating a business plan and seeking advice from mentors. Over time, her confidence grew, and she launched her business successfully. Breaking through fear and self-doubt doesn't mean you'll never feel them again. It means learning to move forward despite them. One effective way to do this is by reframing your relationship with fear. Instead of viewing it as an enemy, see it as a signal that you're stepping out of your comfort zone. Growth rarely happens without discomfort, and fear is often a sign that you're on the edge of something transformative. When you embrace this perspective, fear loses its grip and becomes a companion on your journey, rather than a roadblock. Real-life examples abound of people who overcame fear and self-doubt to achieve remarkable things. Consider J.K. Rowling, who faced rejection after rejection when she first submitted the manuscript for Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. Her self-doubt could have led her to give up, but she persisted, believing in her story. Today, her work has inspired millions. Similarly, think about an athlete preparing for a competition. Even the most experienced professionals feel fear and self-doubt before stepping onto the field. What sets them apart is their ability to channel those feelings into focus and determination. One strategy for overcoming self-doubt is to challenge the stories you tell yourself. Self-doubt thrives on exaggerated, negative assumptions about your abilities or potential outcomes. For instance, you might think, if I fail, everyone will judge me, when the reality is that most people are too focused on their own lives to scrutinize yours. By questioning these narratives and replacing them with more balanced thoughts, you begin to dismantle self-doubt's power. Another approach is to focus on small wins. Fear and self-doubt often stem from the perception that a goal is too big or overwhelming. By breaking it into smaller, manageable steps, you can build confidence incrementally. For example, if your goal is to deliver a public speech, start by practicing in front of a mirror, then with a close friend, and gradually work your way up to larger audiences. Each success reinforces your belief in your abilities, making the next step feel less daunting. It's also helpful to surround yourself with supportive people who believe in you and encourage your growth. Positive reinforcement from others can counteract the negative voices in your head. Consider joining a community or finding a mentor who has faced similar challenges. Their guidance and encouragement can provide a valuable source of strength when fear and self-doubt arise. Let's revisit Lisa's story. After launching her business, she still faced moments of fear, especially when she encountered setbacks. However, she had learned to recognize these feelings as part of the process. She leaned on her support system, celebrated small wins, and reminded herself of why she started. Each time she overcame a new challenge, her belief in herself deepened and fear had less control over her decisions. Fear and self-doubt are natural, but they don't have to define your path. By reframing your perspective, challenging negative narratives, and focusing on small wins, you can transform these barriers into stepping stones. Every time you take action despite your fears, you strengthen your resilience and move closer to your goals. As you wrap up this chapter, here's your practical exercise. Think of a fear or self-doubt that has been holding you back. Write it down in detail. What are you afraid of, and what is the worst-case scenario you imagine? Then challenge these thoughts. Ask yourself, is this fear based on fact or assumption? What's the best possible outcome if I take action despite this fear? Finally, write one small step you can take toward overcoming it, and commit to doing it within the next week. Breaking through fear and self-doubt is an ongoing process, but each step forward builds your courage and capability. As you continue this journey, remember that every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger and more confident. Chapter 4: Habit Foundations. Crafting your success rituals. What if success wasn't about big, dramatic actions, but the small, consistent choices you make every day? Habits are the unseen architects of your life, quietly shaping your outcomes over time. Whether you realize it or not, your daily routines are either working for you or against you. The good news is that you have the power to design habits that align with your goals and set the stage for long-term success. In this chapter, we'll explore how habits are formed, why they matter, and how you can build rituals that support your growth. Habits are automatic behaviors that develop through repetition. When you do something consistently, your brain creates neural pathways that make the action easier and more natural over time. This is why brushing your teeth in the morning or locking the door before leaving home doesn't require conscious thought. They've become second nature. The beauty of habits lies in their compounding effect. A small positive action repeated daily can lead to transformative results over weeks, months, and years. Take the example of James, who wanted to improve his physical fitness. Initially, the idea of going to the gym every day felt overwhelming. Instead of focusing on the end goal, James started small, just 5 minutes of exercise at home each morning. Over time, this simple habit grew. 5 minutes became 10, then 20, and eventually, James found himself consistently working out for an hour. What began as a tiny step became a foundational habit that transformed his health and confidence. This story illustrates a powerful truth. Small habits create big changes. Building effective habits starts with understanding the habit loop, a cycle of cue, routine, and reward. The cue is a trigger that initiates the behavior. The routine is the action itself, and the reward reinforces the habit, making it more likely to stick. For example, if your goal is to start journaling, Your cue might be placing your journal on your pillow each morning. The routine is writing a few sentences before bed, and the reward is the sense of clarity and peace you feel afterward. By intentionally designing this loop, you can create habits that align with your goals. Another critical aspect of building habits is starting small. Many people fail to maintain new habits because they try to change too much too quickly. Instead of deciding to overhaul your entire diet, for instance, start with a single change, like adding a serving of vegetables to one meal a day. This approach lowers the barrier to entry, making it easier to stay consistent. As you build confidence and momentum, you can gradually add more changes, creating a ripple effect that transforms your lifestyle. Let's look at another example. Emily, a college student struggling with time management. She often felt overwhelmed by her workload and procrastinated until the last minute. To address this, Emily started with a simple habit, spending 5 minutes each morning planning her day. This small ritual helped her gain clarity and prioritize her tasks. Over time, she expanded the habit, dedicating more time to planning and developing a consistent study routine. What began as a 5-minute practice evolved into a system that improved her productivity and reduced her stress. Accountability can also play a significant role in habit formation. Sharing your goals with a friend, mentor, or group creates a sense of responsibility that motivates you to stay consistent. For instance, if you want to build a habit of running, joining a running club or finding a workout buddy can provide the encouragement and accountability you need. When you know someone is counting on you, skipping a workout feels less like an option. It's equally important to recognize and address potential obstacles. Life is unpredictable, and even the best-intentioned habits can be disrupted by unexpected events or challenges. The key is not to aim for perfection, but to focus on consistency. If you miss a day or two, don't let it derail your progress. Instead, remind yourself of why the habit matters and get back on track as soon as possible. This mindset fosters resilience and helps you maintain momentum in the face of setbacks. Habits also have a way of reinforcing your identity. When you consistently act in alignment with your goals, you begin to see yourself differently. For example, someone who commits to reading 10 minutes a day might start identifying as a reader. This shift in identity makes it easier to sustain the habit because it feels like an authentic part of who you are. Over time, your habits shape not only your actions but also your sense of self. As you work to build new habits, remember that the process takes time. Research suggests that it takes an average of 66 days for a behavior to become automatic. Patience and persistence are essential. Celebrate small victories along the way, and keep your focus on progress rather than perfection. Every step forward, no matter how small, brings you closer to the life you envision. As you wrap up this chapter, here's your practical exercise. Choose one habit you'd like to develop that aligns with your goals. Identify a specific cue, routine, and reward for this habit. For example, if your goal is to read more, your cue might be placing a book on your bedside table. Your routine is reading for 10 minutes before bed, and your reward is the sense of relaxation and accomplishment you feel afterward. Write down this habit loop and commit to practicing it for the next 30 days, tracking your progress along the way. Habits are the foundation of success because they turn intentional actions into effortless routines. By understanding how they work and approaching them with patience and purpose, you can craft rituals that support your growth and propel you toward your goals. Remember, the journey to success is built one small habit at a time. Chapter 6. Overcoming Setbacks. Turning challenges into opportunities. Have you ever felt like giving up after facing a major setback? It's a natural reaction when things don't go as planned. But what if challenges weren't obstacles to your success, but rather opportunities for growth? The truth is, setbacks are a crucial part of the journey toward achievement. In this chapter, we'll explore how to not only survive setbacks, but to turn them into powerful stepping stones on your path to success. Setbacks come in many forms. They could be a failure in your business, a missed opportunity, or even a personal struggle that sets you back emotionally. No matter how they present themselves, setbacks are inevitable. However, it's not the setback itself that determines your future. It's how you respond to it that matters most. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is often the mindset with which they approach adversity. While some see setbacks as signs to quit, others see them as lessons that propel them forward. The key is to adopt a mindset that views challenges as part of the process, not as the end of the road. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, one of the greatest inventors in history. He is famously quoted as saying, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison's approach to failure was not one of defeat, but of perseverance. Each setback brought him closer to his goal of inventing the light bulb. Instead of seeing failure as something to fear, he embraced it as a necessary part of the journey. Edison's example teaches us an invaluable lesson. Setbacks are not permanent, and they do not define your abilities. How you respond to them can define your success. One of the most important tools in overcoming setbacks is developing resilience, the ability to bounce back after difficulty. Resilience doesn't mean ignoring or minimizing the pain of a setback. It means acknowledging the challenge, learning from it, and continuing to move forward. For example, let's look at Sarah, an aspiring entrepreneur. She spent months preparing to launch her online store, but when she finally launched, sales were much lower than expected. Instead of giving up, Sarah took a step back and analyzed her approach. She realized that her marketing strategy wasn't reaching the right audience. By tweaking her approach, she was able to adjust and eventually achieve success. Sarah's ability to bounce back and learn from her mistake illustrates the power of resilience. Developing a resilient mindset starts with reframing how we view setbacks. Instead of seeing them as signs of failure, we can view them as valuable feedback. This shift in perspective allows us to focus on what we can learn from each experience, rather than becoming discouraged by it. Every setback provides an opportunity to ask, what can I do differently? How can I use this to become better? By asking these questions, we shift from a victim mindset to a growth mindset, which is essential for long-term success. Another powerful way to overcome setbacks is by building a support system. It's easy to feel isolated when facing challenges, but having a network of supportive friends, family, or colleagues can make all the difference. These people provide not only emotional support, but also different perspectives that can help you see solutions you might have missed. For instance, if you're struggling to complete a project at work, talking to a colleague or mentor might reveal a new approach or strategy that you hadn't considered. The key is to reach out rather than retreat into isolation. Having a solid support system can help you navigate difficult times with more confidence and clarity. Moreover, one of the most effective ways to move through setbacks is by setting small, achievable goals. When faced with a major challenge, it can feel overwhelming to think about the big picture. But by breaking the situation down into smaller, manageable tasks, you can focus on making steady progress rather than feeling paralyzed by the magnitude of the setback. This approach helps you regain control and momentum, one step at a time. For example, if you're working on a long-term goal and face a major roadblock, try to identify one small action you can take today that moves you forward. It might be sending an email, making a phone call, or conducting research. By taking one small step, you create forward movement and avoid getting stuck in a cycle of inaction. It's also important to practice self-compassion during difficult times. When setbacks occur, it's easy to fall into negative self-talk, such as, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never succeed." These thoughts only make the situation worse. Instead, practice speaking to yourself the way you would speak to a close friend. Acknowledge your feelings. Remind yourself that setbacks are part of the journey, and give yourself permission to take the time you need to regroup. Self-compassion allows you to navigate setbacks with a sense of grace and patience, rather than self-criticism, which can be paralyzing. The final piece in overcoming setbacks is perseverance. Success doesn't happen overnight, and the road is rarely smooth. But by staying committed to your goals, even when the going gets tough, you build the momentum needed to achieve lasting success. Perseverance means showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It means continuing to push forward despite obstacles because you believe in the value of your journey. Over time, this persistence pays off, turning what seemed like an insurmountable challenge into a success story. To wrap up, Setbacks are not the end. They are simply detours on the road to success. They offer opportunities to learn, grow, and become stronger. By embracing setbacks with resilience, reframing them as learning experiences, seeking support when needed, and practicing perseverance, you will find that obstacles are not roadblocks, but stepping stones toward your goals. The ability to turn setbacks into opportunities is what separates those who succeed from those who give up. As you wrap up this chapter, here's your practical exercise. Reflect on a recent setback you've experienced. How did you initially react to it? Now, think about the lessons you can learn from this situation. What can you do differently moving forward? Break the situation down into smaller, manageable steps. What is one action you can take today to regain momentum? Write down your thoughts and commit to using this setback as a stepping stone toward your ultimate success. Setbacks are part of the journey, not the destination. Embrace them as opportunities, learn from them, and keep moving forward. Chapter 7. Building Momentum. The Power of Consistency. How many times have you started something new, full of excitement and determination, only to find that your enthusiasm fades after a few weeks? It's a common experience. The initial spark of motivation that drives us to begin something new often doesn't last. But what if the key to success wasn't about maintaining a constant surge of motivation, but rather about building and sustaining momentum through consistency? In this chapter, we'll explore how consistent effort, no matter how small, can help you achieve your long-term goals and create lasting change in your life. Consistency is one of the most powerful forces in personal development, yet it is often underestimated. The truth is, small, consistent actions compound over time, leading to remarkable results. This concept is not only central to success, but is also fundamental to building good habits. Think of the process as similar to planting a tree. At first, you might only see a tiny sprout, but with steady care, that small effort eventually grows into a strong, flourishing tree. The same principle applies to your goals. Every small, consistent action you take brings you closer to the achievement you desire, even if the results aren't immediately obvious. Let's take a look at a real-life example of this idea. Consider the story of Jim, an aspiring writer. Jim dreamed of publishing a book, but the task seemed daunting. The thought of writing thousands of words felt overwhelming. However, instead of focusing on the magnitude of the task, Jim decided to commit to writing just 300 words a day. This small, manageable goal allowed him to maintain his focus and build a routine. Weeks turned into months, and over time, Jim's 300 words a day added up to the manuscript of a full book. Jim's story shows us that progress doesn't always require grand gestures. It's often the small, consistent actions that add up to big results. One of the reasons consistency is so effective is that it builds momentum. Momentum is a force that propels you forward even when your motivation wanes. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, gathering more and more snow as it goes. The more you do something consistently, the easier it becomes, and the more progress you make. This is why consistency is key, even when you don't feel motivated. By sticking to your routines, you create a snowball effect where each small action makes the next one easier, and you start to see tangible results. The idea of building momentum through consistency can also be applied to physical fitness. Many people start working out with great enthusiasm, only to give up after a few sessions. But consider the journey of a person who commits to exercising for just 20 minutes every day, regardless of how they feel. At first, it might feel like an insignificant effort. However, over time, this consistency leads to noticeable improvements in strength, endurance, and overall health. The key is not to be discouraged by the slow start, but to trust the process and keep showing up, even when progress feels slow. As momentum builds, the results follow. One of the reasons we struggle with consistency is that we often expect immediate results. Our culture encourages instant gratification, which can make the slow process of building momentum feel frustrating. But the truth is, lasting success is rarely instantaneous. Just like the tree doesn't grow overnight, the habits and skills that lead to success take time to develop. The key is to be patient with yourself and trust that consistency will eventually pay off. This is where self-discipline comes into play. Discipline isn't about forcing yourself to work hard all the time. It's about showing up, even on the days when you don't feel like it. It's also important to note that consistency doesn't mean perfection. You don't have to do everything perfectly every time. The goal is to keep going, even if you don't feel like it or if you make mistakes along the way. Progress isn't linear, and there will be days when things don't go as planned. The crucial thing is to keep coming back to your goal, no matter how many times you stumble. The key to building momentum is simply not giving up. Consider the example of Maria, who decided to learn how to play the piano. At first, she struggled to find time to practice and didn't see much improvement. But instead of quitting, Maria committed to practicing for just 15 minutes every day. Some days, it felt like she wasn't getting anywhere, but over time, the consistency paid off. After several months, Maria could play songs with ease, and her skill improved dramatically. The key to her success wasn't a burst of intense effort, but her ability to show up every day and keep practicing. Another important aspect of consistency is creating routines that support your goals. A routine is a series of actions you do regularly, and when aligned with your goals, it becomes a powerful tool for building momentum. For example, if your goal is to improve your fitness, you might establish a routine where you work out at the same time every day. This removes the need to decide whether or not to exercise, as it becomes a regular part of your day, like brushing your teeth. By establishing routines that support your goals, you create an environment that fosters success. Staying consistent doesn't always require a monumental effort. Often, it's the smallest actions that accumulate over time to create significant change. Consider the simple act of writing down one thing you're grateful for every day. At first, this might seem trivial, but after a month, you'll have 30 things to reflect on, and you might begin to notice a shift in your mindset. It's the same principle that applies to any goal. Small, consistent actions that are repeated daily can create profound changes in your life. As you move forward, think about how you can apply the power of consistency in your own life. Whether it's working toward a career goal, improving your health, or learning a new skill, remember that consistency is the key that unlocks long-term success. The most successful people in the world are not always the most talented or the most intelligent. They are the ones who show up, day after day, consistently putting in the effort, even when things aren't easy. As you wrap up this chapter, here's your practical exercise. Take a moment to reflect on a goal you've been working toward. What small, consistent action can you commit to today that will move you closer to that goal? Write it down and make a plan to implement it every day for the next week. It could be something as simple as writing a paragraph a day for a writing project, or committing to a short daily workout. Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about showing up and taking consistent action toward your goal. Consistency is the secret ingredient to building momentum and achieving long-term success. By taking small steps each day and staying committed to your goals, you'll build the momentum that leads to incredible progress. Don't be discouraged by slow starts. Trust the process and keep moving forward. Chapter 8: Embracing Failure. The key to growth. Have you ever experienced failure and felt like it was the end of the road? Most of us have been there, at one point or another, standing face to face with disappointment, feeling like we've let ourselves down. But what if I told you that failure isn't something to fear, but something to embrace? What if I told you that failure is actually a crucial part of your growth and success? In this chapter, we're going to explore why failure is not only inevitable, but essential for progress, and how you can shift your perspective on it to turn it into a powerful tool for growth. Failure is often seen as a negative event, something to be avoided at all costs. The truth, however, is that failure is not the opposite of success, but a part of the journey toward it. It is the feedback that shows us what doesn't work, what needs improvement, and what we can learn from. Without failure, there can be no growth. Think about it. Every successful person, no matter their field, has faced failure at some point in their life. They didn't achieve success by avoiding failure. They achieved success by learning from their failures and using them to fuel their next attempt. Consider the story of Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. Most people know that he failed countless times before creating the successful design. In fact, when asked about his failures, Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." Edison understood that each failure was a lesson, and he used those lessons to improve his approach. What if we all took this mindset toward failure? Instead of seeing it as something that sets us back, we could see it as a stepping stone that moves us forward. This mindset shift is important because it can change how we approach challenges in life. Let's take the example of a runner training for a marathon. In the early days of training, the runner may struggle to finish even a short distance without feeling exhausted. If they view every challenging run as a failure, they'll be discouraged and may quit altogether. However, if they see each tough run as an opportunity to build strength and improve their stamina, the failures become part of the process, not obstacles to it. Eventually, this consistent effort, fueled by the lessons learned through each setback, will lead to success. Completing the marathon. Failure is often what stands between people and their goals. Many give up at the first sign of struggle, or when things don't go as planned. The problem is that they don't realize that failure is simply part of the process. It's not a sign to stop, it's a sign to adapt, learn, and keep going. One of the most valuable lessons in life is learning how to fail forward, meaning that you use each failure as a learning experience to make your next attempt even stronger. The key to embracing failure is adopting a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed over time through effort, learning, and persistence. People with a growth mindset see failure as an opportunity to grow, while those with a fixed mindset see it as a reflection of their limitations. If you adopt a growth mindset, you'll find that failure no longer feels like a threat, but as an important part of the process. With this mindset, you'll understand that failure doesn't define you. How you respond to failure defines you. Consider a student learning to play the piano. In the beginning, they may struggle with basic notes and chords, perhaps even making mistakes regularly. If the student views these mistakes as failure, they may become discouraged and quit. However, if they view each mistake as an opportunity to improve, they'll continue to practice and, over time, develop greater skill. The more they practice, the fewer mistakes they make, and eventually, they are able to play with ease. In this way, their failures have become the foundation of their success. One of the reasons failure can be so difficult to accept is because of our fear of judgment. We live in a world that often values perfection and immediate success, and this pressure can make us feel like failure is something to hide or avoid. But in reality, failure is not something to be ashamed of. It's a sign that you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, trying new things and taking risks. The greatest breakthroughs often come from those who dared to fail. Learn and keep going. Think about the great entrepreneurs like Steve Jobs or Elon Musk. They faced setbacks and failures, but they didn't let those failures define them. Instead, they learned from them, adapted, and ultimately achieved incredible success. The fear of failure can hold you back from pursuing your goals and dreams, but once you understand that failure is just a stepping stone, you'll be free to take risks and embrace new challenges. Failure allows you to build resilience, adaptability, and problem-solving skills. It helps you discover what works, what doesn't, and what you need to adjust to achieve your goals. Each time you fail and keep going, you build confidence in your ability to overcome obstacles. So how can you start embracing failure and using it as a tool for growth? The first step is to change your perspective. Instead of seeing failure as something to avoid, start seeing it as a valuable lesson. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Or what did I do wrong? And how can I improve next time? By shifting your mindset, you stop fearing failure and begin to embrace it as a necessary part of your journey. Another key to embracing failure is to detach your self-worth from your achievements. Failure doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you encountered a challenge that didn't work out as expected. Your worth is not defined by a single moment of setback. It's defined by your ability to get up, learn, and try again. When you separate your identity from your success or failure, you open yourself up to greater opportunities and greater freedom to take risks. Reflecting on past failures can also be incredibly helpful. Think about a time when you failed at something important to you. What did you learn from that experience? How did you grow as a result? If you haven't failed recently, think about the reasons you've been avoiding it. What might you be afraid of, and how can you shift your thinking to view failure differently? The more you reflect on failure with a growth-oriented mindset, the easier it becomes to embrace it moving forward. As you wrap up this chapter, here's your practical exercise. Take a moment to reflect on a recent failure or setback you've experienced. Write down what you learned from that experience. How can you use the lessons from this failure to improve next time? Are there any steps you can take now to move forward with confidence, knowing that failure is part of your journey toward success? This exercise is about reframing your mindset, seeing failure not as a roadblock, but as a valuable opportunity to grow and learn. Embracing failure is a powerful way to shift your mindset and unlock growth. By viewing failure as a lesson and an essential part of the process, you not only overcome your fear of it, but use it to your advantage. With each failure, you grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. The path to success is never a straight line. It's a winding road full of bumps and detours. The key is to keep moving forward, no matter what setbacks you face. Chapter 9. Harnessing the Power of Consistency. Have you ever noticed how small, consistent actions can compound into something extraordinary? It's easy to underestimate the power of consistency, especially when we're in the midst of a busy or challenging time. We want instant results, but true progress often comes in the form of small, steady steps. In this chapter, we're going to explore the incredible power of consistency and how, when applied in your life, it can transform your goals into reality. Consistency is often seen as an easy concept to understand, yet many struggle to maintain it. It's not about doing something perfectly every time. It's about showing up and putting in the effort, day after day. The key to consistency is the understanding that incremental progress is still progress, even when the results are not immediately visible. This chapter will delve into the idea that small, daily actions add up over time to produce significant long-term results. Think about the process of building a house. At first, the foundation might seem small and insignificant, but without it, the rest of the house cannot stand. Every beam installed, no matter how small or repetitive, is an essential part of creating a solid structure. The same applies to personal growth. Your consistent efforts, even when they seem small or unremarkable in the moment, are what build the foundation for long-term success. Consider the story of an artist. An artist who paints every day, even if it's just for an hour, will improve faster than one who only practices once a week or sporadically. Over time, the daily practice compounds into skill, technique, and confidence. But if the artist only focuses on the end result, they might feel discouraged by the slow progress. However, by staying consistent, they will find that, with time, their work becomes more refined and their style develops. A great example of consistency can be found in the story of the tortoise and the hare. While the hare represents fast, short bursts of energy, the tortoise symbolizes slow, steady, and consistent action. In the fable, it is the tortoise who wins the race, not because it was faster, but because it never stopped moving forward. In life, there are many instances where the tortoise's approach will win over the hare's. Achieving success is not about rushing to the finish line, but about maintaining a steady pace over the long term. In business, one of the most common factors separating successful entrepreneurs from those who fall short is consistency. Consider the example of someone trying to build an online business. They may not see immediate results after the first few months of work. It can feel discouraging when the progress seems slow or invisible. However, the key to success in this situation is consistency. By showing up every day, working on the business even in small ways, they create a snowball effect. Every blog post, social media interaction, or customer service email builds momentum, even if the rewards are not immediately visible. Over time, these small actions lead to a more successful business, larger audience, and greater income. The same principle applies to fitness. If you want to lose weight or build muscle, you must make a consistent commitment to exercise and healthy eating. Results won't appear overnight, and some days will feel harder than others. However, the power of consistency lies in the habit itself. Each workout, each healthy meal, is another brick in the wall of your success. When you show up consistently, day after day, you begin to see changes, not just in your body, but in your mindset and attitude toward health. The challenge with consistency, however, is that it can sometimes feel mundane or tedious. We might start strong, feeling motivated and eager to make progress, but as the days drag on, we might lose our sense of excitement. This is when discipline becomes key. Motivation can fade, but discipline is what keeps you going when the novelty wears off. Just like a runner who trains even when they're tired, or a writer who shows up every day even when they're uninspired, discipline keeps you moving forward when motivation fails. Think about the power of the compound effect. This principle states that small, consistent actions over time lead to exponential growth. Consider saving money. If you put aside just a small amount each week, over time, this can accumulate into a significant amount. The same goes for reading books. If you commit to reading just 10 pages a day, by the end of the year, you'll have read multiple books. The key to these practices is not the intensity or the size of the effort, but the consistency. By committing to small actions every day, you begin to see compounding benefits that wouldn't be possible with sporadic, inconsistent effort. Another powerful concept related to consistency is the idea of delayed gratification. In our fast-paced instant gratification world, we're often conditioned to want things right away. However, learning to delay gratification and embrace the slow and steady process of consistent effort is essential for long-term success. It's about choosing to put in the work today, knowing that the results will come later, even if you don't see them immediately. Think about someone learning to play an instrument. They don't expect to be a virtuoso after their first lesson. They practice every day, focusing on improving just a little bit at a time, and over time, their skills grow exponentially. Consistency isn't about perfection, it's about persistence. Some days will be harder than others, and there will be times when you falter. That's completely normal. The key is not to let those setbacks discourage you. Instead, acknowledge them, learn from them, and keep moving forward. Each setback is a learning opportunity. Every time you get back on track, you're reinforcing the habit of consistency. So, how can you cultivate consistency in your own life? First, it's important to set realistic, attainable goals. If you expect to accomplish everything in one day or 1 week, you might become discouraged when it doesn't happen. Break your larger goals into smaller, more manageable tasks, and focus on doing something small every day. Establishing a routine is also crucial for consistency. When your actions become habitual, they require less mental energy to maintain. Over time, what seemed like a chore will become second nature. Another key to consistency is tracking your progress. This helps you stay motivated and aware of how far you've come, even when the results feel slow. Tracking can be as simple as keeping a journal or using an app to log your actions. By seeing the steps you've taken, you'll realize that you are, in fact, moving forward, even if it's at a slower pace than you'd hoped. As you wrap up this chapter, here's your practical exercise. Identify one area of your life where you would like to build more consistency. This could be in your fitness routine, your work habits, or a personal goal you've been putting off. Break that goal down into smaller, manageable actions that you can commit to daily. Create a plan for tracking your progress and be patient with yourself. Remember, consistency is not about perfection, but about showing up each day and continuing to make progress, no matter how small. Consistency is one of the most powerful tools you have in your journey to success. It's the secret ingredient behind small successes that, when compounded over time, lead to great achievements. By staying persistent and committed to your goals, you unlock the potential for lasting change. So embrace the power of consistency, show up every day, and trust the process. Every small action adds up to something greater than you can imagine. Chapter 10. Embracing your journey to success. As we reach the final chapter of this book, it's time to reflect on your journey so far. You've worked through various strategies and techniques to improve your mindset, build your habits, and understand the principles that lead to success. But the most important aspect of any journey is not necessarily the destination, but how you navigate the path. Embracing your journey means understanding that every step, no matter how small, is an integral part of your growth. Success is often thought of as a destination, The moment you hit a financial goal, land your dream job, or achieve your personal ambitions. However, this view can limit your potential because it focuses only on the end result rather than the continuous progress you make along the way. In truth, success isn't a single moment of achievement, but an ongoing process of learning, growing, and evolving. Embracing this journey mindset will help you build resilience, find joy in the process, and stay motivated even when things don't go as planned. The idea of success as a journey instead of a destination is fundamental for those who seek long-lasting fulfillment. It's easy to become focused on what we don't have yet or what we've yet to achieve. However, by focusing too much on the future, we lose sight of the progress we've already made and the valuable lessons we've learned. Success is not just about ticking off boxes on your goal list. It's about becoming a better version of yourself along the way, cultivating qualities like patience, perseverance, and adaptability. These qualities are the real markers of success. One of the most powerful examples of embracing your journey can be seen in the story of Thomas Edison, the inventor of the electric light bulb. Edison famously failed thousands of times before he finally succeeded. If he had seen each failure as a setback and given up, we might still be in the dark. Instead, he embraced his journey, viewing each attempt as a step closer to his goal. He famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This mindset is key. The journey involves learning from every experience, good or bad, and using it to fuel future progress. The same principle applies to personal development. Take a moment and think about a goal or skill you've worked on in the past. Whether it was learning to play a musical instrument, getting in better physical shape, or developing a new career skill, chances are you encountered obstacles along the way. Those obstacles weren't failures. They were learning opportunities. By embracing those challenges and persevering, you made progress. The key to success is to keep going, even when things get tough. Because those tough moments are often where the most significant growth happens. The journey also includes celebrating the small wins along the way. In a world that often focuses on big, flashy successes, we tend to forget the importance of the little victories. However, it's these smaller wins that often keep us motivated and moving forward. For example, if you're working on improving your health, you might not see a dramatic change in the first week, but each healthy meal, each workout, and each positive choice adds up. Over time, those small victories build momentum and lead to bigger changes. By celebrating these wins, no matter how small, you begin to reframe your perception of success, focusing on the continuous progress rather than waiting for one big breakthrough. This is especially relevant in the world of personal finance. Many people see financial success as a single event, such as getting a promotion, paying off debt, or purchasing a home. But the reality is that building wealth is a journey. It requires discipline, patience, and, most importantly, consistency. The decisions you make every day, from how you save to how you manage your investments, may not feel groundbreaking, but they accumulate over time. Each small action contributes to your long-term financial security. By viewing your financial journey as a series of steps, rather than a single event, you'll avoid burnout and stay on track toward achieving your financial goals. Another crucial element of embracing your journey is developing resilience. Life is unpredictable, and no matter how well we plan, we will encounter obstacles along the way. The key is to stay flexible and adaptable. If you're too focused on an idealized vision of success or a rigid plan, you might miss out on valuable opportunities or become discouraged when things don't go as expected. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from setbacks and keep moving forward. It's about learning from mistakes, adjusting your course, and continuing your journey with a renewed sense of purpose. Consider the story of J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. Before her books became global bestsellers, she faced multiple rejections from publishers. She was a single mother living on welfare and had little to no support in pursuing her dream of becoming a writer. But she didn't let those rejections define her journey. She kept writing, kept submitting, and eventually, her perseverance paid off. Today, Rowling's books have sold over 500 million copies worldwide. Her story is a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of embracing the ups and downs of the journey. At the same time, embracing your journey means understanding that the road may not always be smooth, and success is rarely a straight line. It's important to be kind to yourself during the tough moments. Give yourself permission to stumble, to feel discouraged, or to make mistakes. These moments are not only inevitable but essential for growth. The journey to success is not about being perfect. It's about progressing. Every step, even those that feel like setbacks, is a step forward. By showing yourself compassion and accepting that the road is sometimes messy, you can keep moving forward with more confidence and clarity. It's also vital to surround yourself with the right people on your journey. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, so choose to be around people who encourage and support you. Having a support system can make all the difference when it comes to staying motivated and focused on your goals. Your network should include people who uplift you, who share similar values, and who challenge you to grow. As you continue to walk this path, remember that success is not a final destination. It's a lifelong journey of continuous growth and improvement. Every challenge you face, every lesson you learn, and every milestone you achieve is part of your personal evolution. The most important thing is to stay committed to your path, to embrace the journey, and to keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps may seem. As you wrap up this chapter, here's your practical exercise. Reflect on your current journey. Is there an area in your life where you've been feeling impatient or frustrated because progress seems slow? Take a moment to recognize how far you've come, even if you can't see the end result just yet. What are the small wins you've achieved so far? Write them down and celebrate them. Now, consider how you can reframe your mindset to focus more on the journey itself, rather than just the outcome. What can you do today to stay committed to the process, even when the results aren't immediately visible? Embrace your journey, knowing that every step is leading you toward your success. Remember, success is not a race, it's a journey, and each step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to the person you're meant to be. Embrace that journey with patience, persistence, and a belief in your ability to overcome any challenge along the way. You've got this. Conclusion: thank you for joining me on this journey through the principles of personal growth, success, and the power of embracing each step along the way. We've explored how a positive mindset, resilience, consistency, and a focus on the process, rather than just the outcome, are the keys to achieving lasting success. Remember, success is not a single destination, but a continuous journey of growth and evolution. Every small step, every lesson learned, and every challenge faced adds value to your story. Keep moving forward with purpose, patience, and belief in yourself. I truly appreciate you taking the time to read and reflect on these ideas. If you found this content valuable, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the Millionaire Manifesto channel for more insights and inspiration. Your engagement means the world to me, and I'm excited to continue this journey with you. Until next time, stay focused and keep manifesting your success.